Stranger Things has become a pop culture sensation overnight after being released on Netflix. Originally titled Montauk, the show has been described as a love letter to the 80s genre. Set in 1980 in Montauk, Long Island, the show is about a young boy who vanishes into thin air. As friends, family and local police search for answers, they are drawn into an extraordinary mystery involving top-secret government experiments, terrifying supernatural forces, and one very strange little girl. You may think this story is just a story, but did you know Stranger Things was inspired by real-life events? Today we'll be talking about the Montauk Project, the real-life story that inspired Stranger Things. What was the Montauk Project? The Montauk Project was supposedly taken from a list of secret United States government projects conducted at Camp Hero at Montauk Air Force Station at Montauk, Long Island. A small number of conspiracy theorists claim that the project was secretly developing a powerful psychological war weapon. However, the project has been widely regarded by mainstream sources as fictional. The legend of the project. Some people believe that the Montauk Project was an extension of the controversial Philadelphia experiment, which took place October 28, 1943. The legend goes that sometime in the 1950s, the team behind a previous project named Project Rainbow continued their research into technical aspects of manipulating the electromagnetic bottle that had been used to make the USS Eldridge invisible on the Philadelphia project. A report was supposedly presented to Congress, which was rejected as far too dangerous. Instead, a proposal was then made to the Department of Defense promising a powerful new weapon that could drive an enemy insane, inducing the symptoms of schizophrenia at the touch of a button. Without congressional approval, the project ended up secretly funded and classified top secret after it was approved by the Department of Defense. Funding and setup. The funding for the Montauk Project came from a cache of $10 billion in Nazi gold recovered from a train found by US soldiers in a train tunnel in France. The train was blown up and all the soldiers involved were killed. When those funds ran out, additional funding was secured from ITT and Krupp AG in Germany. After initially beginning the project at Brookhaven National Laboratory on Long Island, New York, under the name Phoenix Project, it was realized that a larger radar dish would also be required and strong security was needed. The project was then moved to a decommissioned base at Montauk, New York, not far from Brookhaven, which had a complete SAGE radar installation. The site was large and remote, and water access would allow equipment to be moved in and out undetected. The project name was changed from the Phoenix Project to the Montauk Project. During the late 1960s, equipment was moved to Cape Hero at the Montauk base, which was installed in a secret underground bunker. To hide their intentions, conspiracy theorists say that the project was closed in 1969 and the base donated to a wildlife refuge and park on the condition that everything in the underground bunker remained the property of the Air Force. Until this day, the wildlife park has never been opened to the public based on the excuse of environmental contamination. Abductions and experiments. Homeless people and orphans have been known to be abducted and subjected to huge amounts of electromagnetic radiation to test mind control technology and remote brain programming. Few survived. Kidnapped boys were apparently experimented on with mind control techniques by undergoing excruciating periods of both physical and mental torture in order to break their minds, and then their minds were reprogrammed. Many were supposedly killed during the process and buried on the site. Others were released from the program as mind slaves with alternate personalities to be sleeper cells who could be activated to perform missions. Many people have had their psychic abilities enhanced to where they could materialize objects out of thin air. Aliens and time travel. Experiments were conducted in teleportation. Portals and wormholes were developed which allowed researchers to travel anywhere in time or space. These were progressed into a stable time tunnel. These portals apparently allowed us to make contact with alien extraterrestrials through the time tunnel, and technology was exchanged with them which enhanced the project. This allowed broader access to hyperspace. The Montauk Chair. Andy Perot was involved with the Montauk Project and was featured in Preston Nichols' book Phoenix Undead, The Montauk Project and Camp Hero Today. Perot was a survivor of the horrendous mind control programming directly connected to the infamous Montauk Project operation. He remembers in particular the Montauk Chair, stating, "I was involved in an offshoot of the Montauk Project called the Montauk Chair. Basically, the Montauk Chair was developed to give the human and spirit a zero point of reference to facilitate time travel. What the chair essentially does is separate the mind from the body. The chair's operator's thoughts and vibrational energy are picked up by umbrella-looking antennas above the chair, sent to the computer over to the processor, then amplified several hundred times. The information is sent to a network of free energy crystals arranged in a circle. Then whatever thoughts were amplified, i.e. a time period, a wormhole would open up in a room. The wormhole was as large as 16 to 18 feet across and even large enough for a truck to go through. In Camp Hero, Montauk, the location is the crosshairs of the Earth's biorhythms and is the point on Earth where time travel is most easily accomplished when Earth is the point of origin. My part of the Montauk Chair project was to use my focus and visualization skills to think of specific time points in history that were assigned to me. The chair is connected to a sophisticated computer system and thought amplifier, such that when a thought or time period is visualized, the computer simulates the time portals based on that point in time. A series of time portals are done until a library of time periods and portals are accumulated. The Montauk Monster. The chair is also used to amplify extremely focused thoughts to create three-dimensional materializations based on the operator's thoughts. Preston Nichols wrote several books on the Montauk Project and describes an incident in which Duncan Cameron created a monster while in the Montauk Chair. A code phrase was whispered to Duncan, at which point he released a monster from his subconscious. This creature, or beast from the id, materialized as a large hairy monster that smashed its way across the base, destroying and eating anything it could find. Meanwhile, one of the project members began cutting apart cables and conduits in an attempt to sever the power to the base transmitters and shut down the project. After smashing up and cutting apart enough equipment, the transmitter powered down and the beast mercifully faded away. Abductions, mind control, telepathy, and a terrifying monster, all seemingly created by a secret military project hidden underground. Maybe the story of strange things could have been inspired by the top secret Montauk Project. What do you think?